Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar this morning with Emma Wilkinson from the Rock Trust. And today we're going to be talking about some practices for self-care using art therapy. Before I hand over to Emma to do her presentation, I quickly would like to just do a very quick overview of what we're doing with these webinars. So, a moment. So just a quick overview of what we're doing with our Breakfast Bite webinar series. It's a weekly webinar series where every Wednesday morning we do a short PowerPoint presentation on a topic usually related to homeless services operating during COVID-19. As you can see, going back to the 25th of March, we've dealt with a whole set of topics from self-care to motivational interviewing, problem solving, trauma, domestic abuse, child sexual abuse, self-care, and we have a few more coming up on eating disorders and self-harm. We have a few more in the pipeline as well. So after this presentation, I'll be sharing some information with you that will not only have a recording of this webinar, but it will also have Emma's PowerPoint and some links to watch back previous webinars and also to register for upcoming ones. So please keep an eye on those. And lastly, some of you may be aware that Fiance is a membership-based organization. Our membership structures have changed in the last year. So previously, you may have come in touch with us previously and your organization wasn't eligible for membership, but now we accept all homeless services. So you don't have to be operating at a national level only. You can be working at a local, regional level. We accept policymakers, so people who are organizations such as ministries, agencies, local authorities and cities, and foundations and think tanks as well. And this is part of our broader approach to combating homelessness because it can't be done by homeless services on their own. We need a wider coalition of organizations if we really want to combat homelessness and prevent and end it. So with that, I would like to hand back over to Emma, who's going to go through her presentation. And as a quick reminder to everybody, there is a small box on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh, perfect, Emma. As a quick reminder, there is a chat box on the right-hand side of your screen, and in there, you can ask questions during the webinar. I'll be monitoring them, and at the end of Emma's presentation, I'll be able to feed them back to her. So feel free if you have questions or things you want for clarification, feel free to use that resource. Otherwise, Emma, over to you.
So morning, I'm Emma Wilkinson. I'm an art therapist and transpersonal psychologist, and I work at the Rock Trust as a health and well-being worker. So today we're going to be looking at, like Rob said, some tools for self-care during this difficult time, looking at focusing-oriented art therapy, which was developed by Lori Rappaport. It's the combination of focusing psychology and art therapy, and her book is called Focusing-Oriented Art Therapy, Accessing the Creative, the Body's Wisdom and Creative Intelligence. So we're going to kind of look at a brief history of transpersonal psychology and how I work, and then we're going to dive into really briefly focusing psychology and art therapy, and then actually do a bit of an exercise of clearing space. So as a transpersonal psychologist, I don't always use meditation and mindfulness with my clients, but I do always use the techniques myself to help me be more present and aware so I can be the best support to them. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today, is how you can use this clearing space to be there for other people. Because in this time of like working from home, we might be having a bit of difficulty having some boundaries around like our work and our home life, and also in the middle of a pandemic, you might be having a lot going on with your own family and worrying about your loved ones, and how you can kind of put that to the side when you're still in your house and be there for someone else. And then at the end of the day, also put your work aside and go back to being there with your family. I know for me, I've been kind of using this clearing space at the end of the day a lot, because I was noticing work kind of coming up into my dreams and things. And so I hope you guys find this helpful for yourself during this time. Transpersonal psychology is a holistic approach that believes wellness of the mind, body, and spirit are all like woven together. And therefore, we need to welcome all these aspects into the therapy space. And focusing oriented art therapy also derives from this belief that these three parts are integrated and are essential parts of health and well-being. So that's why I really love it. Focusing was invented by Eugene Gendlin in the 1960s while he was working with Carl Rogers. So it's a person-centered approach. Focusing is a process of self-awareness, listening to your body in a gentle and accepting way. It helps us kind of hear that gut feeling, and then we kind of keep it company and are curious about it. So he created 6 steps to accessing this inner experience. And today we'll be looking at just the first step of clearing space. Just an overall picture of the focusing attitude. We kind of approach thoughts, feelings, and emotions with a welcoming, friendly attitude. We want to kind of keep them company, and we're friendly and curious about what's going on inside of us. I really like that word of like friendly curiosity. So before we kind of dive into art therapy, we're just going to pause for a moment and just take a few breaths together. So I like to sometimes have my hand on my chest and on my stomach, but whatever is comfortable for you. You can just do this while you're sitting in your chair. We'll take 3 breaths together. Taking deep breaths into your body. And as you breathe, bringing a welcoming attitude to whatever is happening inside you right now. This is just a way to take a quick pause in a focusing way. And it's something easy you can do throughout the day. I know for me, I'm not very comfortable presenting, so even just taking a quick pause right there, you probably hear me slow down a bit and enjoy this a bit more. So we're going to look next at art therapy and then the combination, and then we're going to just dive into the exercise. So art therapy, according to the American Art Therapy Association, you guys might have picked up on my American accent, though I live in Scotland now, is an integrative mental health and human service profession that enriches the lives of individuals, families, and communities through active art making, the creative process, applied psychology theory, and human experience within a therapeutic relationship. So when we go through this process of clearing space, I think you'll be able to imagine how art therapy can be like woven into the clearing space. I might invite you to really imagine these images that might come up for you around a safe place or how it feels to feel all fine in your body. And we're going to have enough time afterwards to answer any questions about other ways that art therapy could be integrated into that process. So focusing oriented art therapy, as I mentioned, is a combination of the mind, body, and spirit. Focusing offers a gentle yet powerful way to access the body's wisdom, while art therapy harnesses and activates one's creative intelligence. Art therapy also, I think, fits in with it really well because it can be a holding space for some of these difficult emotions, and you can kind of have them outside of yourself and then come back to them later and like maybe change them and work with them and adapt them from like a safe distance, and yeah, giving yourself that space, which you'll kind of see during this focusing exercise of how we're trying to give ourselves a bit of space. So we're using this as a self-care tool. These are really brief overviews of these theories, so it's not a training and using it with other clients. It's more for yourself. So we're going to just dive in. So you can find a comfortable seat. You don't need to see me. You just need to be able to hear me. So I'll give you some time to let yourself find somewhere comfortable and take a few deep breaths into your body, noticing the breath as it moves in and out. Maybe noticing if you're taking short breaths or deep breaths. And feel the support of your chair you're sitting on. Feel the support of the earth beneath you, those places of contact where you're being held. You can feel free to close your eyes or keep them open, whichever is more comfortable for you. If you keep them open, you may want to bring your gaze down. And as you breathe, follow your breath inside. Notice how you are on the inside, almost like you're going into a cave with a flashlight. And you're looking around. Notice if you feel tight or warm or any pains, maybe jumpy or calm, anything that comes up. When you're ready, you can ask yourself, how am I from the inside right now? And just listen. Give time for an answer to form in your body. And be accepting to whatever you find there without judgment. Now imagine yourself in a peaceful place. It might be a place you already know, or it might be one that you've created. There might be sounds or smells associated with this place. What's the weather of this place? Can you feel the sun? Very nice cool breeze. When you're ready, you can ask yourself, what's between me and feeling all fine right now? And let whatever comes up, come up. Don't go inside any particular thing right now. As each thing comes up, imagine placing it at a distance from you. Some people like to imagine sitting on a park bench and placing things next to them. Or others like to imagine being on a boat and placing things onto a boat and letting the boat go out a short distance. Or wrapping things up in a package and setting it down at a distance that feels right. So go through in your own time each of these things that come up, and really gently placing them to the side and kind of treating them with care. These things are important. You will come back to them. Right now, you're putting them in a safe place. And as the list begins to stop, just check in and ask yourself again, except for that, am I all fine? And if more comes up, continue to add to the stack. Keep a comfortable distance from your stack. And sometimes there's a background feeling, which is like a feeling that's always there. Maybe it's feeling rushed or anxious or sad or a bit slow. Just check inside and see if there's any background feeling that gets in the way of feeling all fine. And if there is, just scoop it up and add it to the stack, and then check in again and ask yourself, how is it now? Now I'd like to invite you to sense that feeling, this all fine place. Turn your attention inside and let it rest on this place of feeling fine. See if there's a word or a phrase or an image that matches and acts kind of like a handle for that feeling. And check it against your body and make sure that it's right. And if it isn't, invite a new word or phrase or image that matches this place of feeling all fine. Once you find your feeling all fine place, I invite you to come back again to feeling the supports beneath you, the chair holding you, those places of contact of your body being held and supported. Notice your breath, how it comes naturally. Start to bring your attention back into the room, opening your eyes if they've been closed, bringing a bit of movement. So that was a clearing space exercise. And like I said, it's kind of the first exercise in a series of 6 that could be used for focusing techniques. So thanks for joining me this morning. It was nice to start my day doing this with the group.
Thanks, Emma. That was really, really relaxing. I can't remember the last time my heart rate was so low at work. It was really, really effective, and I'm not sure if there are so many questions that people will have because it was more of an immersive experience than it was like a technical overview. But could you maybe share how you use this process or when you would use this process with clients?
Yeah, so that's kind of a big part of the training is kind of when it is appropriate, because for some clients it won't be appropriate. It will be too difficult for them to go into their body that way, and it might not be safe yet. Some of my clients that I have been working with, I do these over Skype, and it can be a really nice way for them to have a break during the day and to connect with themselves. So that's, yeah, it's a bit of a complicated answer to say when someone is ready or not. And like I said, kind of that brief breathing exercise that we did together, like midway, that can kind of be a good indicator of saying, doing something like that, that's really short, just 3 breaths, and asking them how that felt. And some clients will just say terrible, like they don't want to go in their body. It's not safe right now, and that's okay. So like I said, it also is something that not every therapist uses who's a mindfulness therapist with their clients, but they always use it maybe before to kind of clear space and help with their own practice.
Yeah. Like I know outside of Fianza, I'm also a coach, and those kind of I guess methods or methodologies are something that I would also use as well, but you never know with the client until you've done some smaller steps, whether it's something they're comfortable with, because everybody is different, and more people are comfortable with those kind of inward looking exercises, and others are a little bit more functional and want to talk about the problem that's out there, and it's just different people differ.
Yeah, as an art therapist as well, like not all of my clients do art with me, and I don't push that on them. Like the first time they meet me, sometimes they're like, "That sounds horrible. I'll never want to do art with you." And it's similar, yeah. And with mindfulness, it might not be a good fit for them, and that's okay too.
Perfect. Quick question is from Anna is, how does it relate to art? It seems like a regular breathing exercise.
Yeah, so that, like I said, is the first step of the focusing exercise. And then normally a lot of what I'll do with clients is, like I said, art can be used to enhance that. So they might do a drawing of their safe place, which we kind of started talking about and putting some imagery in there. Art therapy also isn't necessarily always creating art, but it's talking in metaphors and using the visual language. So that's a lot of like the focusing is like building up those images and those feelings. So it can enhance that if someone wants to take it that step further. Sometimes also I have clients pick out or create images for each one of their things that come up during that exercise that's like blocking them. And that can kind of help them live outside of themselves. But like I said, it's really, this was just for your own self-care because yeah, so it can go a bit deeper, but it is a good question because it isn't like we didn't do creating today. Sorry, guys.
No, but maybe if you're open, we could have you come back and do another step in a future webinar, because it sounds like you're using the art and the language of art as a way to express emotions that you can't normally vocalize or at least articulate.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, exactly. It's kind of helping bringing up that
Mm.
image language, how to connect your feelings with images.
Perfect. Well, I think that's it for all the questions. And I know you have another meeting starting in a few minutes. So there's no other questions. I think we're happy to end the webinar. And I just want to thank you again, Emma, for coming on and giving us that really immersive webinar experience. And maybe we'll have you back again for another step if you're open.
Yeah, definitely. It was really nice. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody has a lovely day. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.